Hello, everybody. My name is Darwin German, and I've got a very exciting opportunity to talk to you about today. Iron Ranch Business Park. What Iron Ranch is it's an office flex building. So it's flexible space. You've seen them before, a roll-up garage door and a front door, and then a big open space inside that can be used for absolutely anything, all the way from a State Farm agent to a car collector. And so we attract a lot of those types of tenants. And it's flex space because you can have office in there, you can have retail in there, you can have whatever you want for the most part, whatever's not restricted by the city. Now, this is an old rendering that we had, but it looks similar to this. In Iron Ranch, the whole idea is we want to have these all over DFW to start and have a branded office flex product. There's nothing that's branded that's saying, hey, you're going here, here, here. And not only that, we focus on areas that are underserved by office. And what that does, that gives us a lot higher rental rates because people can actually office out of this. As a matter of fact, a lot of people move from office space into an office flex type of space because it's a much less expensive rent than a lot of offices. And then you're on the ground floor, you park right in front of your spot, you've got flexibility, et cetera. So this is Iron Ranch Business Park that I'm going to talk to you about and tell you why we think this is a great deal. First off, we're going to raise $9.1 million. Our projected investor rate of return is 21.8%. Now, we are doing preferred returns. That means you are earning 10% per year right off the bat. So that's the first thing. First money in, first money out. First money goes to preferred returns, and that gets paid out. And then there's a split after that. We're looking at a year 3 refinance, 116% cash out, tax-free refinance in year 3. Okay, so in 3 years, you get over 100% of your money back, and then you can still keep on holding it and still get the cash flow and long-term benefits. Projected returns, this is new construction, so we are building this product, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Projected returns for a $100,000 investor or a $300,000 investor is 0 year 1. That's because that's the year that we're actually doing construction. It won't take a whole year, but that's what we're budgeting. Year 2, $12,000 in cash flow. Year 3, in cash flow and refinance proceeds of $130,000. So at the end of year 3, you're talking about having, let's see here, $142,000 cash in your pocket, and you still have ownership, and you get that out in 3 years tax-free. So you can go invest in another deal, which I am sure you'll want to go do another one of these because we're planning on doing more of them. Now, because you've already got your money back, year 4, it's a very small return, $2,300. But that is after you've already got 140% of your money back. Year 5, just so that we can have a sale date, you'll get $50,000 back. That's cash flow and sales proceeds. So this is an overall 21.8% projected investor rate of return, which is absolutely spectacular. And we're probably going to be holding on to it for longer than 5 years, so there will be more cash flow and more appreciation. Now, I put this in here for a $300,000 investor, just to give you an idea. That would get $389,000 back in year 3. You'll have over $400,000 back in 3 years, plus getting over $500 a month in cash flow, and then another $150 upon sale if we did that in year 5. So great, great returns. Why we like this deal? First off, it's located in Fate, Texas, and Fate is in Rockwall County out there east of Dallas. And Rockwall's got one of the highest per capita average incomes in the area. So this is also a high growth area. We'll show you some of that. Flex space, very high demand. We were already pre-leased at 42% before doing any marketing. And to give you an idea, one of the tenants that we talked to, they service Teslas. And the city at first said, we don't want automotive repair. And they said, this is not automotive repair. This is they're coming in, they're bringing it in for a software update. So this gentleman wants to lease 3 spaces in every single place we build to service the Teslas. That's just one of them. Now there's car collector areas, there's businesses, etc. But we were already pre-leased at 42% before we started any marketing. It's shovel ready. We're going to be starting construction here in January. We already control the almost 8-acre lot. We're paying $3.9 million for the lot. It appraised for 4.9. Investor returns at 21.8, which is great. And the way we're doing that is a 10% preferred return. So you get that first and then a 25% ownership. Here's some pictures of it. And again, there is, you can see on the top right, there's big open space, and then there's a mezzanine level for additional square footage. There's a picture of the mezzanine above. These were early renderings. We were going to be using concrete construction, and we have went away from that. And we're also going to be redesigning the front of the space as well to make it even more attractive. Here is the site. You're looking down I-30 on the top right picture. You're looking down I-30 headed east, headed out of Dallas. And this is where the site layout is right here. Just next to us, that's self-storage, but this is our roughly 100 units. I'll give you more of a detail in a second. Okay, the project. Ground up development that we're doing, multi-tenant, and we're looking for small to medium-sized businesses. This is not meant for the large businesses. This is community businesses. Climate controlled, single suites. Now we can combine that if somebody needs something bigger, like the tenant that I just mentioned, the Tesla service company, where they're going to be combining 3 spaces. So we can always combine them. High visibility because we're on the freeway in Fate. Branded business park, more locations. So you can go to ironranchbusinesspark.com and you can see what we have on there so far. ironranchbusinesspark.com. 98 units, 4 different buildings. Each space is 1,650 square feet. That's a 1,250 square foot footprint with another 400 square feet of mezzanine. Mezzanine is just an upstairs level. We can only do 400 square feet per ADA requirements. We go bigger than that, then we have to have an elevator or a lift. So that is possible when you lease that space to go ahead and have larger square footage, and that would just increase the rent. Steel framing wrapped in brick and stone, 24-foot clear inside. You have the roll-up door, so no matter what type of business you're doing, you can utilize it. Turnkey finish out, steel framed, restroom, kitchen, break. So it's kind of a white box. We go in there and it's ready to move into, but there's not a lot of TIs inside of that. So if you want something different for your business, we've got that budgeted in to provide for those tenants as well. There's also a lot of extra parking. Here's the site. Now, the bottom part here, that is the back side of the property. The top is I-30. And the access, we've actually got controlled access here. So you've got gates. So we call this the controlled access or collectors area. That's for the people that want extra security, people with high-end car collections, things like that. Each space is kind of laid out like this, where you've got a kitchen, a bathroom, big open space, and stairs and a mezzanine upstairs. That way you can go ahead and design this out however you want to finish it out. It's an idea of what the car collectors area looks like. Now, I will talk about competition real quick. There are 2 other companies that are doing a similar product, but it's not a for lease product, it's condos for sale. Urban Garages and Garages of Texas are both doing a similar type of product. But theirs is a condo model to sell, and they primarily market them as man caves. Their original Garages of Texas business model is, hey, you're going to go spend $1 million on your RV. It'd be great to have a nice place to park it, nice and safe and secure, and you may as well go ahead and buy a place rather than renting. So that was one of the reasons why we have this section in the back. However, Most of it is going to be for other businesses because we're not trying to stick with just car collectors. The location, you see Dallas Fort Worth here. Fate is right out here next to Rockwall. Just across the bridge is Rockwall, and very nice area, high growth area. Fate's 29 miles east, and there was some buildings on that. Those were knocked down by the gentleman that has the property that we have the property under contract with. 109,000 cars per day on the I-30 frontage road. There's a mixed use development coming in there, which I'll show you. There's a Fresh by Brookshire's, which is brand new. There's also an HEB coming in right there. U-Haul storage just to the west. And the city of Fate is a smaller town, but high growth town because it's this property is located you get off on the same exit as going to Rockwall, but you stay on the access road about a half mile, and that's where our site is. Median household income, 109,000, some $500,000 houses across the freeway, and there's a whole master plan to keep up with expansion that you can also look at when you get this full deck. Here's the site again, and it has where the buildings were that were torn down and where this site is. You can't really see it too much, but right up here, you keep on going up the freeway. You're coming out of Dallas from the left, going right. There's a Love's right here, and this exit right here is FM 549, and that is the exit. That's left side is Rockwall, right side is Fate, and our site is right here to the right. Now, right here, this big yellow area, this is an exciting development, which we'll tell you about here in just a second. But that's basically right next to ours, and right where the new Fate Village is with the new Fresh Market. This is what's going in there. They just broke ground on this whole Major League Baseball fit sport mixed use. You're talking about hotels, condominiums, retail, sports athletics center, training center, baseball fields. So this is what they just broke ground on right next to our billion-dollar development that will be right there, right down the street. And with all that development going right down there, they're going to have to stay on the access road, drive right past our property every single time. Here's an overhead view. Here's the Fresh Market. This was an artist rendering before they built it, but it looks very, very similar. Here's that whole center. So this is where the Fresh Market is, and they've got additional development going on here. Again, retail. We already talked about that, the small to medium-sized tenants or satellite locations. The Tesla service provider, State Farm, and wealth advisors are already interested, and there can be all sorts of uses. We kind of talked about those already. Timeline, we're ready to close on the property. What we're going to do is we're going to raise $5 million first, and that's to close on the land. That's to close on the land and to finalize our architectural renderings and our construction drawings to get our final bids on construction. I'll go over more of that in the financial analysis, but we're going to close on that part of it and then go through and get our debt to go ahead and build. Again, 116% cash out refi plus your cash flow, you're 140% in 3 years cash back plus then long-term ownership. You know me, you know everything that we've done, over $1 billion in transactions, raise a lot of money, do a lot of deals. This is our first office flex deal. I've owned plenty of office, plenty of flex space, plenty of warehouse space, industrial. I've owned all that. However, we've been focusing on apartments, but this is a new product that we want to really push forward. Part of the team is Charles Anglin. He's got 40 years of commercial experience, and he was actually a consultant with both Urban Garages and Garages of Texas. So this was kind of his brainchild to start it all out with. And he's got a long history of development and of commercial real estate. So it's great to have him involved, and he's heading up the construction side of the equation. We will hire third-party contractors to go ahead and do that, but he gets to oversee all that. Next one, David Tuttle. He worked for me for a while in our investor relations side and moved on to go ahead and do something bigger and better. And so he's involved in this as well from his commercial real estate experience. And he's doing site locations, growth, mastermind, the whole thing, and consulting on that whole situation. Got another guy, Alan Ackerman. Alan lives out there in that area, and he's the one that's been doing the leasing. He'll be a site coordinator, overseeing the project while he's there, doing the leasing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he's our boots on the ground as far as leasing in Fate. Again, here it is again, artist rendering. And again, the reason we like it, we're raising $9.1 million, starting off with $5 million to close on the land, 21% IRR, 10% preferred returns, and a huge cash out refi. So these are all great reasons to love this project. And if you want to look at it again, ironranchbusinesspark.com is where the website for the property is. And we will be going through all this information again live at some point in time. It's all right here for you to go ahead and look at. And now we will do the investment presentation and go through how the numbers work on this whole deal. Thank you for listening, and we would love to have you as a partner on it. We love the deal. So now take a look and see what the numbers actually look like.